Get started. In my current tutorial, we are going to learn to use Postman for API testing. So let's say you have created an API and you want to test it. Okay. So of course you can have a lot of things like you can simply use the endpoint and paste the URL on a browser and test your API. But when it comes to thorough testing, or when it comes to send to production, always it's recommended to use Postman for API testing. So if we talk about API testing, Postman is the best one, and it is used by more than 20 million developers all across the world. So this is so what is Postman? So Postman is again a tool which is used for API testing, and it can create reports to API endpoints. It can send various types of data and examine responses effortlessly. Okay, so it makes very easy when you are using Postman for API testing. Okay, so we assume that you have created an API and you want to test it. So if you have not ready with the API, I would recommend you to watch my previous video where I have talked about how to create a simple or a basic API using fast API Python. So in my last tutorial I have explained about how to create a simple API. Okay, so if you are not aware of that, you can simply go to my channel Technical Lab, and here I have created this last video to create you know to create a a simple API. Okay, so I recommend you to do that. So once you have API ready, so let's say I have created this API, right, in what do you call in Python using fast API. So I won't talk much about the how the API is created. So basically we are having a small interface, or let's say endpoint, where I have a dictionary where some categories are there, and then we are going to run the endpoint using the get method. Okay, so we are at the root path, and then we are going to pass the items, and then we are going to again go to this path, food category. So we are going to run it and test it using the Postman. Okay, so let's get started. So before this, I if you have not installed Postman in your system, you have to install it. So what you do is you simply go to Google and search for, or you can say download Postman. So you'll get to this postman.com download. This is the official page of Postman to download Postman. So here you can simply download your version of based on your Windows. Okay, so once you download it, you install it, you're ready to go ahead, and this is your main console of Postman. Okay, so what we are going to do is, first of all, we are going to start the our application, right? So let's start the application so that you can test it. Okay, so to start the application, we simply do Python, and then the module which we are going to here, which we are going to use as UV because so if you are not aware of this, how we are using UV and also please watch my last video. So UV and then we have to give the name of our application, and we have to give colon app. Okay, and of course we can use this reload function. So reload is used if you are making any changes to your code. You can simply save that changes, and it will automatically be reflected in your application. So for example, I'm running this. See, it is simply saying we will watch for changes in this directory. So if you are making any changes in the program, it will automatically stop and restart the application. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to the Postman, and we create a new HTTP request. Okay, so as I said, after installation of the Postman, we are going to test our API. So what we do, we go to our Postman and we create an HTTP request. So how do we do that? We just go to main menu and go to file and click on new. So you get a lot of options like HTTP request, or a collection. If you want to create a collection, so collection is nothing but a group of requests, so where you can club multiple requests. So once you are in the collection, you can run multiple requests at the same time, and then even you can create a new environment. So environment is nothing but a set of variables which you can define and run like whenever required, so you don't need to set the variables, and also it helps you create the testing faster. Okay, so then of course there is a workspace also, which we are going to check later. So you have to click on http request. So once you do that, so you have to select the method. Okay, so now method that it support is, it could be get, it could be post, put, or patch, or delete. Okay, so these are all the API requests that we do, and then you have to enter the URL. Okay, so now URL can be your local host, or it can be also the website where your application is hosted. So as you can see, by default my application is running on 127.0.0.1 colon 8000. So this is our local host, and 8000 is the default port. You can always change it using the minus minus host, the IP address, and space minus minus port, and the port number. Okay, so now we are going to use the default port and IP address. So 127.0.0.1 and colon 8000. So here we have a method, or we have an endpoint we have created in our application at the root level. Okay, so we have a root level also, so we can simply run this at the root level. Okay, so you can see here, you can say at the root level, and then we do a send. Now we have two options, one is send and one is send and download. So if you simply do a send, so what is going to happen, it is going to run it. Okay, so yeah, so maybe it is taking some time, I don't know why. Let me check. So our application is running. Okay, so sometimes it gets it hangs, so what I'll do is I'll simply cancel this. I will just try and restart this. Okay, because many times it happens, and then so I'm just going to start my Postman one more time. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to again run our application. Okay, so we start our application. So you can see my application is started on the same port and IP address and port number. So now this is the URL that we are giving here, and this is we are at the root path. Okay, and we do a send. So once we do that send, you can see in 25 millisecond we get the response. Okay, so you get all the information here, like everything you can see here. So see, this is the result at the root endpoint. Okay, and because see, in our code we have mentioned here at the root point we are going to print the entire dictionary. Okay, so we have the category along with in the fruit category, like whatever fruits are there, or in the web beverage we have whatever options. So entire dictionary we have printed, right? So this is the result, and we are expecting the same. Now so when we send the API request, it will send a response. Okay, so what we can do, we can save this response, or we can save this result. So at the same time, what you can do is, while sending the request, you can simply, instead of sending, you can click on send and download. So once you do that, it will not only run the API request, but also you can save the response. Okay, you can always save the response in a JSON format. It will allow you to save. Okay, so now you can see here that the response has been saved. Okay, so you can see here, yeah, so my response has been, let me check it is whether it is saved or not in my desktop. Okay, so now see, this is my response. We'll check this out. Okay, see, my response is saved here. Okay, so this is how you can actually run and save it. Okay, so similarly what you can do is you can send another endpoint. Like, so we have created multiple endpoints. So this was at the root level. Now we have parameters also passed. So all these things I have discussed in my last tutorial, but we are going to simply test it now. So let's say I am going to run it with the item. Okay, so let's say item, and then I'm going to pass item and then the item ID. So item ID we can pass either fruit or whatever it is. So let's say fruits. So if I send it now, so you can see the food selected is fruit and the options are apples and grapes. Okay, similarly if I want to, let's say, run with beverage. Okay, so if we want to run it, we want to check what are the options in beverages. Okay, so you can see beverages, we have you have selected the option as beverage and the options are coffee, tea and juice. Okay, so based on our endpoint, it is passing this item ID, and if it is beverage, and then for that particular key it is returning the value. Okay, so I'm not going to explain the working of this. So basically this is an API and we are going to test it. So based on our programming, it looks correct and our API response is returned. Okay, so now not only this, so what we can do here, you can simply click on save here. So save this, you can save this to a collection. Okay, so now you can give a request name. So for example, you can request name, you can give anything you want. So let's say beverage, and then you can click, you can save it to a existing collection or you can create a new collection. Let's say my collection. Okay, or whatever you want. So you can create a collection. So collection is nothing but a group of multiple requests. Okay, so now in my collection we are going to save this. Okay, so you can see in my collection we have created this request. Now in the same collection you can go ahead and add another request. Okay, or you can simply run it again with a different request. So let's say I run it this time with the snacks. So if I run it with the snacks, so you can see this time we have selected snacks and we have options like chips. I like chips and pakora and all that. Okay, so these are the options we have available. So again we can go to save as, and again we can give like snacks, and we can save in the same collection or we can create a new collection. So we are going to save in the same collection. If I do a save now, so it is saved here. So similarly, let me try one more endpoint because we have food category as well. So we are going to test that as well. So if I just do now here food category, because it will tell you like what are the options or category we have available in our website. Okay, so if I run this, if you simply press enter, it will send the API request. So food request, food options are, so it is printing the keys. So fruits, beverage, snacks and meal. Okay, so again I'll save this, save as, and then I will just food category. Okay, or whatever it is in the same collection. So now you can see we have created 3 API requests in a same collection. Now what is the advantage of collection is that you can run all the requests at the same time. So if you go here now, you can see run collection. So it goes you to the Postman runner, and you can run in the order. You can select one out of this, or you can select all of them, or you can deselect or select all, or you can reset or anything like that. Okay, so you can either run 2 of the requests, or like, see, this is useful when you are making a big API or doing multiple test cases. Okay, so in that scenario you want to run only 1 or 2 requests from a collection. So in that case it is useful. So let's say I'm running all of them. Now you can either schedule the run, you can run manually, or you can also run it from the command line interface that we will see later. So we will see one iteration and then run my collection. So if you do this, your collection will run here, and then everything will be shown here. So you can see this result, this beverage and the snacks and the food category, these all are shown here. So for example, if you select the food category, this is the result. Okay, so everything is stored here, right? So now again go back to the collection runner. Then again see here you have the option to run again, or you have the option to schedule run or integrate with CI and CD. And then again you can go to view summary and all. Okay, so you can see a run summary. So all this information are stored, so average response time, you can see everything. So of course there is an environment, so we haven't created any environment, so it will show as the default one. Okay, so these are the things that we can do. So now we don't have any test cases right now, but of course we can create we can add test cases also. So these are the ways these are the things you can do uh, using Postman, and you can test your API. Okay, so again, like, there are a lot of things that you can explore by yourself. Even you can create a new environment. So environment is necessary because when you want to set up a variable or anything, like for example new environment, so you have to want to add a variable or type or anything that you want to do. Okay, so that those things are required when you create a new environment. Okay, so this is what I wanted to explain, and we wanted to show you like how you can use Postman to test your application and your API. Okay, so again, like, let me try, and let's say item, what's that, item, and let's say what do you call, fruits. Okay, so you can see this is the result for that. Okay, so this is our response, and then again in the response also you have what do you call, these headers you can add. Okay, and then you have body. So in the body you have visualize option. So in the visualize, you can visualize response. You can using the table, or you can use the bar chart and everything. So you can see here, when you click on visualize, you have an option to use the post bot, which gives you a better way of to represent the data. Okay, so for example, if you click on visualize, and then what do you call, okay, so if you click on visualize, must pass iterator. Okay, so not this one. So I think there is a way to visualize, and then must pass iterator to each. Okay, so yeah, so these are the things that you can do. Okay, so you can use postbot to make it even better. So just wanted to explain you and give a brief introduction to Postman and how to test using Postman. So if you find this useful, please share and please like our videos, and because if you like and support our channel, it will encourage us to make such tutorials even furthermore. So yeah, thanks for watching, and keep supporting.